All right, the very last part we have in the absolute value unit is to talk about absolute value applications. And these problems are ones that you could do using elementary math, using simple adding and subtracting. But I'm going to be forcing you, based on the instructions, I'm going to force you to write it as an inequality. I'm going to force you to solve that inequality. And the reason why is because when I looked at the EOC, I saw this on the list of things to teach, and I was like, oh, that's silly. Who would ever do that using an inequality? And then I noticed that on the EOC, we have multiple choice questions where the inequality written out was the answer, and you had to kind of know how to set it up to be able to get the answer right. So I figured we've got to at least practice it. So this is going to be a pretty simple, repetitive day. So it says, at the TX Design Company, the average starting salary for a new designer is $33,600, but actual salary could differ from the average by as much as $1,560. We're going to write the inequality to determine if their salary X falls in this range. So X stands for a specific person's starting salary. So whoever, someone's starting salary. And then what we have is we have the acceptable number, so kind of like the goal number. That's what we want to have. I'm going to go ahead and write next to that. That's the goal. Okay, so we're going to say that the difference between what we actually get, whoever that new person is who's starting with the company, the difference between that person and the goal has to be less than how much you can deviate from the goal by, less than or equal to 1,560. So when I say absolute value, I'm saying you can go above the average by that much, or you can go below the average by that much. That's why it's absolute value, because it could be that the difference is positive, meaning you make more than the average, or it could be that that difference is a negative value and you make less. So we're just saying the amount more that you make or the amount less that you make is this. Right? So, and you're always going to set it up that way. You're always going to have X. You're always going to have a difference between that and the goal value. And then you're always going to have a less than or equal to, and you're going to have the number when we do the problems this way. So since that is a less than sign, that means that this is a sandwich problem. And so to solve for X, we're going to go ahead and add that 33,600 to all of the pieces. Okay. So, a new higher salary could be anywhere in between these numbers. So when it says solve the inequality, that's what I did here. I was solving the inequality, and write the conclusion in a sentence means I'm doing capital letters, I'm doing periods, making sure that I am not using abbreviations for things. I'm actually writing words out. It's a complete sentence. So we're going to say a new hire expect a salary between $32,040 and $35,160. All right, an essay contest requires the essay entries consist of 500 words with a deviation of 30 words. Write an absolute value inequality to represent the number of words X permitted. So X is the number of words you can have. So 500 is the goal, but you're allowed to be 30 off of that goal. So we're going to say the difference between what you actually have and the goal needs to be less than 30, less than or equal to 30. So you can go 30 above the number, you can go 30 below the number. So this is a less than sign. That means we're making the sandwich. We got negative 30 is less than or equal to x minus 500, which is less than or equal to 30. So I've got 470 and 530. And this is the part where I think it's this example, it's the most obvious, like Miss Rice. If I knew that you had to be within 30 words, then I would just minus 30 and add 30. And you're exactly right. Yeah, it would be that simple. However, they might give you a multiple choice question where they just want this as the answer. So if you don't know how to write that, then you're going to automatically miss those multiple choice questions, which is why we're working with the problem this way. So the essay has to be between 470 and 530 words. And that's us writing our answer in a sentence and the context of the problem. All right, last example, a candy manufacturer with 240 pieces of candy in a bag. The bag can be off by 8 pieces at the most and still be acceptable. So X is the number of pieces of candy in a bag. And this isn't theoretical, this is like in an actual bag. So the goal is to have 240 pieces. That's our goal. That's what we always want. But we're not going to be perfect, so we can be off by 8. So we're going to say the difference between the actual bag of candy and the goal of 240 has to be less than or equal to 8. So again, it's a less than. There are situations where they could have a gray-tor, but what I did for you guys, I focused on these types of questions. These are the most common. This is what I'm expecting you to see. When I taught honors math, we did all sorts of different scenarios where there would be an equal to, where there wouldn't be an equal to. And it's a lot more difficult to write a question that doesn't fit this situation. So we're going to focus in on this. That means you're going to write them the same every time. So we're going to say x minus 240 is sandwiched in between negative 8 and positive 8. So each bag needs between 232 and 248 pieces of